morning, sunshine. Good morning. This is your social studies classes for elementary D. So we're going to start right now. And today's goal, I hope you did it at home, is to recognize the roles on the Inca's empire. So we're going to learn something new today. Your board work is going to be telling me the good and the bad things about an empire. Okay? So for that, we've used this before in class, so you know how it works. Right? On your next page, you're going to have this. So what you're going to do is you're going to make a drawing with a smiley face and a sad face. You're going to write the word empire on top, and you're going to tell me all the things that you think are good about an empire. And then over here, you're going to tell me all the things you think that are not so good about an empire. So you know how this works? We've done this in class. Take your time. I want you to pause the video and do it correctly. Okay? So after you've done that, just a reminder. You can use pen, pencil, and highlighter. Color pencils also bad. No markers. Okay? So after you've done this, we're going to learn today's lesson, and that is the roles. I know you're looking at this slide and thinking, that's a lot, misery, and that's kind of confusing. Don't worry, we're going to go step by step, so it's okay. So the first role and the most important, who was on top of the hierarchy, was of course the sun. Remember, they worship the sun. Inti, that's the Quechua word. So he was on top of the pyramid, right? He was the boss. But of course, he couldn't really tell people what to do. So he needed somebody to do that. And that's when we have the first man on top of this hierarchy. And that was the Sapa Inca, or the emperor. As you can see, he was pictured as being the most wise person and the most powerful and very strong. So that was the Sapa Inca. Now, I know you might be thinking like, what? So they think that the sun designated somebody to be in charge? Sounds crazy, right? But just so you know, even nowadays, we have some systems working like that. Those are the king and the queen. So for their role, they were designated also by God. So God named them king and queen. And of course, then their kids took the job, and then their grandkids took the job, and so on. But at the beginning, they thought that they were designated by God. So that's kind of how this worked also. So he was designated by the god, who was Inti in this case. Okay, so the next person that was very important after the Sapa Inca was the priest, or the Inca Urim. So you might recognize this role because we've learned it before, and this is, yes, the shaman, right? Or the healer. Yes, that was him. Now he was going to be called officially the priest. So what will be the name for the Sapa Inca, who was the emperor? Ding! Yes, the chief. You see, some of the roles we also find here, but we're going to learn some new roles. Now, we have another role, and that's the Apu Apu, or a Suyo leader. So you might be thinking right now, what are Suyo leaders? So remember that when we draw and we color our Tawantinsuyos territories, we have like 4 main parts of this territory. Those are Chinchasuyo, Antisuyo, Contisuyo, Coyasuyo. What's important is that at the end of each word, you have Suyo, 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 Suyo. That refers to territory. So it was Antisuyo, this territory. Contisuyo, that territory. And all those, Suyo was like the name for them to divide their territory, to organize it, okay? So we only have 4 apu-apu. And one of those was Pachacuti, for example. That's why in your notebook, when you did the coloring, you do have the names of the apu-apus. There were just 4. Now, inside each apu-apu, inside each suyo, we also have the tuk-rikuk. That's like, we will translate it to our prefecto, or the province leader. You know, he's also inside one of these suyos, but it's also divided into provinces. So we will have the prefecto of each province will be right now another leader, right? That's low in hierarchy, lower than the apu-apu. Now, we have the curaca, or as we will know it, the mayor. So the curaca or mayor is like right now we have in the city, we have Jorge Yunda is Quito's mayor. Okay, so he was in charge of the cities that are inside the provinces that are inside the suyos, and the suyos that's inside the Inca's empire. Okay. So then we have the Hatun Runa. The Hatun Runa is the family leader. So this will be the wisest man on a family. Mainly it was the grandparents, because you know, they know all the family history and they are very wise because they've learned so much things. So in this type of societies, they really worship grandparents. They were very important. They were never left out, and the parents will go ask them for advice. The kids will go talk to them. They will always tell their grandparents, please tell me story, because grandparents will tell all the legends and all the stories of their culture. So if your grandparents are alive and if you have the chance to talk to them, or even better, to see them, ask them to tell you stories about their lives, about Ecuador, about how it worked for them, how it was for them to go to school. You should ask them that. That's going to be very interesting. And well, you know, there you have it. It was the family leader. After that, we have the Ayu. The Ayu was mainly families. So each family was, again, after the wisest man on each family, the leader, then you had all the family. And finally, we have the Huacha. So the Huacha was a mixture between the poor people, the poorest people, and the orphans. Orphan is a kid who has no parents. Of course, he was born, but maybe his parents died or they left or something. So they don't have an adult to take care of them, to provide for them. So they were at the lowest part of the social hierarchy because, again, nobody was going to fight for their rights. Which is why you should be really grateful about having parents, having adults that protect you, that fight for you, okay? So that's the hierarchy, that's how it works, and how we're going to represent it in our notebook. It's pretty simple. We're gonna make a super simple pop-up. We've done this before. We're gonna learn some new things next, don't worry. But this is what we're gonna do for today. So as you can see, I have a pop-up. So it's very simple. I just did a pyramid and I just wrote all the names in here. I even made a little drawing. As you can see, the sun's on top, the orphans and the poor are at the bottom. You have all the pyramid right here. So what I just did is I pasted only on this part, only here. And then I cut another piece of my recycled papers to pull it up. So you're gonna build your own social pyramid with the hierarchies, and then you just close it like this. So it gets on your notebook. Okay? So I hope you enjoyed today's class. We're gonna talk about how these roles were fair or unfair, because I know you might be thinking, and that's something we're gonna talk about next class. So I love you, babies. I just wanna send you some kisses to you. And I'll see you on next social studies class. Okay, this was the roles. Bye-bye.